Hey, stop giving away your power. I know you're doing it because I've done so myself many times, and I've watched others do it as well. I've watched individuals come home from prison with the best of intentions of living a clean and productive life, and as soon as they face barriers, like not being able to get a job, being labeled a felon, not being able to get housing, and possibly becoming homeless, they go right back to the same things that caused them to go to prison in the first place. It's a vicious cycle, and the boomerang is definitely real. Don't get me wrong, I understand and respect the struggle personally. Bills need to be paid, children need to be cared for, and being viewed and treated as less than, well, that does a number on your psyche. I know. When I first came home, I experienced being denied jobs and opportunities, all because of my background. I applied for a job at a group home and talked to one of the directors, and they assured me that I would have a good opportunity to get the job. I was excited. After spending 10 years in prison, I hadn't witnessed anybody come home that was able to get a job with a livable wage that they could be proud of. But here I was, being presented with just that chance. Before this can happen, the state of California stepped in, and they denied the group home the opportunity to be able to sign that letter of exemption and give me that chance that I needed. I was crushed. I began to doubt if the process of reform was even real. Had I been pursuing my education in vain? Was I trying to do all the right things for nothing? I wanted to say to hell with this. I'm going to go back to sell drugs and do whatever it takes in order to just be able to win. But this time, I chose something completely different. I chose to take a pause when this opportunity came to me. All the emotions, all the thoughts, processing everything, I decided to take a moment of silence and just kind of ground myself and say, hey, I don't want to go back. This was a pivotal moment in my life, very pivotal moment. From that point forward, I realized whenever I would become emotionally hijacked or really just attacked by life and different things in general, that I needed to take that moment just to pause and respond and let things flow. That opened up doors for me that otherwise wouldn't be possible for individuals like myself that come from the extremes that I come from. As simple as that may sound and seem to just pause and take your time, it's not so easy, not so much so. Even after building that muscle in your mind, it was just saying, let me take a pause and let me take a moment to think, you still just get hit with attacks and different situations that you have to continue to process and work your way through. When that happens, people easily land back in prison because you're reacting to a situation instead of responding to it and taking that time. Even as recently as a couple of months ago, I was faced with a situation and I failed. I failed miserably. I was at a conservative restaurant here in San Diego on the bayfront. I had ordered some food and I was dealing with a waiter. I tasted the food and he seen my facial expression and was like, is everything okay? And I was like, nah. And he was like, would you like us to go back and recook the food and, see if we could get that right for you? I said, no problem. Upon returning with the second plate, he began to talk to me in a slick tone. And it was like, would you like to take the silverware and the knives with you too? So I sat there, and instead of pausing, and there were many ways I could have dealt with that situation, I decided to react, and I matched that energy. I told him, who the hell do you think you're playing with, and I'm not your slave. The waiter then reacted by pulling a Karen and calling the police. Sad to say, I spent that night in jail over something that could have been avoided had I just took my time and not engaged that energy. Although all ended up working itself out, I still put my future in jeopardy. When we react to situations, instead of responding, we defer the power of our choice to whoever it was that came through with those that attacked you, I should say. But had I taken a moment just to respond instead of reacting, all of that would have changed. When we react and match people's energies, it leaves zero chance for opportunity at de-escalation and being able to take the best course of action. On the contrary, when we respond, we think. We get to choose. We get to have the chance to find the best course of action. I suspect my entire evening and that night would have went different with the waiter had I chose to just respond instead of reacting to him. Simply put, our emotions drive our reactions. Our logic drives our responses. Viktor Frankl, founder of logotherapy, concentration camp survivor, he said it best. He said, between stimulus and response, there's a space right there in the middle. And in that space is our power to choose. What I discovered by listening to that is that between that space, when it comes to reaction and response, there lies our future. Every single opportunity we get to wake up and have a choice and have an option to do different things. I believe everything would have been all right had I responded, and I believe in life, everything is a test. We're always gonna have that chance to be able to respond to the ways that people treat us, to respond to the situations that we are in. Because keep in mind, if you fight fire with fire, you're gonna get more fire. And everything is gonna continue just to be fire. That's not what we want. Today, I'm no longer a victim of my circumstances like most of the people are where I come from, because when they get faced with situations, they choose to react. And 9 times out of 10, those reactions are what land individuals back in prison. And then the cycle continues again, because like I said earlier, the boomerang is real. This time, I've been able to just build that muscle, continue to move forward, and learn from my mistakes. And when you learn from your mistakes, you put yourself in a situation to where you're able to consistently keep jobs like I have. You're able to receive your associate's, bachelor's, and master's degree. My greatest accomplishment is my son right here in front of us. DJ, DJ, that's everything to me. That's everything to me. My father asked the other day, this is a little off topic, but this means a lot to me right here, right? My father asked, or he called me the other day and told me, you know what I asked your son? Who he wants to be when he grows up, and what he wants to be, and he said his dad. And just everything that I've been through, that touched me. But that's why I said that's my greatest accomplishment right there. I've also been able to speak to local governments, elected officials. I've been to the California State Assembly to testify many times, to the Public Safety Committee, and all of those accomplishments, anybody can have that opportunity, especially coming from the backgrounds that we come from. They're available to everybody. All you have to do is just understand the power in responding versus reacting, and take that space and know that that's where your future is created. Thank you.